If you're driving these days, and most Americans are, a trip to the gas station is probably pretty painful right now, at least for your pocket. That's because protests in the Middle East have had more and more repercussions than just getting rid of some leaders. The uncertainty that's fueling more and more countries in the region to take to the streets, also raising the price of fuel. So, at a time when millions of Americans are already having trouble making ends meet, what could this mean for the economic recovery and also for Barack Obama's political future? Well, the publisher of the Trends Journal, Gerald Celente, is talking to us from New York for more. Gerald, thanks for coming on. So let's talk about this surge in oil prices. Some are predicting it could go as high as $200 a barrel. What's your assessment?
Well, we don't see it going that high unless, of course, there's an outbreak in a major oil producer such as Saudi Arabia, maybe something happening with Iran, closure of the Suez Canal. But what we're looking at really is very reminiscent of the late 1970s, 1979, when the Iranian crisis broke out. Because there's another element in this that's important. It's inflation. And what we're looking at, as we look back in the 70s, it was high inflation plus the Iranian crisis, an oil spike. You have the same thing going on now. Oil prices were going up before this happened, and it's because of the devaluation of the dollar. Now, here's where it really gets tricky. The only reason this Ponzi scheme continues to go on is because the Federal Reserve has interest rates near zero. What's going to happen as inflation skyrockets and interest rates have to go up because to hold down oil prices and other rising commodities, because these commodities are based in dollars. They have to raise interest rates. The interest rates go up, the economy goes down.
So you're saying the inflation, the role of the Federal Reserve, possibility of oil prices skyrocketing, that this could be detrimental to the U.S. economic recovery, which, let's not forget, the Obama administration seems to be sort of boasting about.
What are they boasting about? How could they boast about it? Look at the unemployment numbers. They said that they would be under 7% by now. I just heard the White House spokesperson, Carney. Carney, by the way, is an abbreviation, it's the word for carnival man, a carny. He said that he didn't want to talk about how they said it would only be 7%. He didn't want to relitigate history. So the reality is it's more like 10%, way over 9, actually. 22% according to John Williams. There is no recovery. It's a cover-up. It's only being boosted by these low interest rates, which again, when inflation skyrockets, they're going to have to raise them, and that crashes the economy.
When is that going to happen, Gerald?
It's difficult to tell, but it's underway now. It's underway when you look at China, India. Other countries are already raising their interest rates because of the fears of inflation. In the U.S., they're cooking the numbers. They're saying we don't have inflation. Oh, food and fuel, we're not going to count that. Why not? Well, because we made it up, and we're saying we're not going to count it. And, you know, when they're looking at the numbers and saying, you know, if gasoline goes up X percent, the GDP falls by X percent, that's not the way it works. When people fill up their tank and they see it registering $70 on the pump, you think they're going to go out and splurge?